Welcome to the Dialogue, Learning from the Masters. This podcast will offer you a rare glimpse into our in-depth interview with screenwriter Ed Solomon.
Do you have a goal for page count?
I find it to be arbitrary, but I do find some arbitrary goals helpful. I want to get to this part. I want to get through this scene. I want to get, sometimes it might be a page, like to get 10 pages done or 3 pages done or whatever. All those rules about screenwriting, I find only helpful now and only screwed me up earlier. What happens is with beginning writers is they hear these rules. By page 10, something's supposed to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know something is. And then there's a something that happens. And then there's something called an inciting incident, or maybe that's what happens on page 10. I have no idea. But the point is, your movie has to be interesting. It has to be not boring. If it's a comedy, it has to be funny. If it's a drama, it has to be dramatic. If it's a thriller, it has to be thrilling. If it's a suspense, it has to be suspenseful. I mean, it's it's got to be good. It's got to be well told, and it's got to work within its own self. However, when you sit down and go, okay, I'm now going to write a screenplay. By page 30, this has to happen. Well, you know what? That's not how it happens organically. That's not how you write. You don't block something out, and then, then it just comes to that page, and then by page 45, this happens. And the problem with all these screenwriting books, most of which are written by people who are good teachers and who do know what they're talking about, but the problem is they screw up more people than they help. But I think it's like anything. There's almost everything, I think, is misused most of the time. Whether it's sugar or guns or whatever, they're misused. And only if you really know what you're doing with something, I think, can you use them. And I think these rules are the same way. You need to know when and why they apply. But the problem is when you first start out, you don't. For instance, you can get to a great script only beginning with dialogue. You might just hear some dialogue, and then you might start, you might from the dialogue clone a character. And that character might have a sense of movement to it. And then that movement starts to tell you what a story might be. And then that tells you what an obstacle or an antagonist might be. And then there's some conflict. And then suddenly you get something else, some other idea. Oh, wait, what if I move this into the world of advertising? And then you get an image in your head. What if there's a bunch of, whatever, he's selling all the, and what starts to happen is you start to put together something and it starts to form. And then you might start structuring it.
This has been an excerpt from the Dialogue, Learning from the Masters with screenwriter Ed Solomon. To get the full interview on DVD, go to thedialogueseries.com. There you will find this and all 27 in-depth interviews with the industry's leading screenwriters. You can also find these interviews at Netflix, Amazon, Audible, and coming soon to iTunes.